Welcome to Offensive, where we're 1-0 against Ben Johnson and also against Ben Johnson's refs.
Yeah, 2 victories for the Packers.
2 victories
today.
in one day.
Yeah.
Very, very, very convenient for us.
What a game. It was kind of cold outside, but in the stadium, it was awesome. The crowd was definitely up for it. There were a lot of Bears fans there. And I'll say this, most of the Bears fans were actually pretty cool. I had a good time today. Dave was very cordial.
I won't say they were cool.
Yeah, well, Doug's got bias. He just hates them in general.
We were sitting next to a grumpy Bears fan. Not Dave, a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to be nice to him, and he wouldn't have it.
Yeah. Well, it was a rough game for them. So we should get into it. Okay, but first, let's start with you, Dave. So your team lost, but they played pretty well. How do you feel about the game overall?
I thought that we stuck with the game plan of we're just going to run it. Caleb, on the very first play of the game, or on the very first pass of the game, he did it out to Luther Burden. It was a difficult pass. Luther had hit him in the hands. He didn't catch it right away. Y'all thought Caleb had a bad pass. I said, no, if you actually look at the replay, Caleb actually started out good. His next couple of passes were a little bit off. It seemed like he got into his head, but Ben Johnson just stayed the course. He's like, no, we're going to continue to run. Even once we got down 14-3, nope, we're still going to continue to run. Third quarter, we saw the dividends. He started doing play action rollouts with Caleb on the right. All in all, it was a competitive game. We were able to tie it up 21-21. And again, before the season began, we really didn't think we'd be in the spot. We came to Lambeau, and it came down to a last-second interception by your favorite cornerback, Keyshawn Nixon, who you were screaming before the season, why is he on our roster?
Seriously.
And it was fun to hear a lot of the Packer fans online were saying, okay, Keyshawn, we're so sorry for everything that we said to you before.
Well, he did have 2 penalties. He did start the game poorly, and then he saved himself.
I'm not the only one. And I didn't say Keyshawn shouldn't be on the team. I said if he's your number one cornerback, you have a problem.
Yeah.
And, he's somewhat mitigated that worry, but not completely.
So
he made a good play, though.
Oh, yeah, Green Bay covered the spread. It was a competitive game. We never gave up, even when we're down by 11. And the home team did what they're supposed to do in a competitive matchup. They won. In 13 days, it's going to be fantastic to see what happens in Lambeau. I was pretty happy. A lot of growing pains. Second-year quarterback looks like the second-year quarterback, but we're still in it until the very end with the shot. I'm pretty happy after today.
I think after watching this game, so the Eagles game, I definitely had a lot of respect for what you guys did, but I also, in the back of my mind, was like, the Eagles implode sometimes and they just can get beat by anybody. And the way you guys dominated the run game, I was like, okay, maybe this is a little bit of a one-off because your run game has been good. And the Packers actually, I thought, did a decent job against the run.
The first half, they shut it down pretty much.
Right. The second half, though, the Bears started to dominate. They went on that 16-play drive. Yeah. They actually had 66 total offensive plays to the Packers 52 today.
They're good at getting 3 yards a carry or 4 or whatever.
And they had more first downs. So they did a good job of moving the ball down the field, but they were taking their time. But remember, Dave, when I said in the preview, what is the difference is the Packers offense is so much more explosive than the Bears. And the Jordan Love had a 45-yard touchdown, a 30-yard touchdown, and then obviously the 1 red zone touchdown for Josh Jacobs. But all 3 of Jordan Love's touchdowns were outside of the red zone today. Big plays, attacking the Bears deep like you should. Packers had 6.9 yards of play today. Really, really good. Higher than their season average.
Yep.
And the Bears actually only got 4.7 yards of play, much lower than their season average. So I thought, like I said, I think the Bears offense and defense kind of mitigated each other a little bit, the Packers defense and the Bears offense, and just the big plays that the offense of the Packers were able to make, I think was the biggest difference today. But credit to the Bears. They played very well. I said originally I thought we were going to split. I think you guys will take the game in Chicago, especially if you can control the ball like that.
I disagree.
But yeah, no, it's fine. And at this point, if we beat the Bears again, I will be ecstatic. But if we lose to them, Chicago, I won't be as upset. We really needed to win this game, keep home field advantage, 4-0 in the division. So congrats to the Bears for not being frauds, but still losing. So
I think you guys completely missed the important thing about this game. The first half, the Packers should have been blowing them out. Every single time they had a long drive, nearly something happened, like a call went against them or a big penalties and the worst situations. It could have easily been a 3-touchdown game. But then on the other thing in the second half, when the Bears were down and it was really tough for the Bears, they did come back and claw their way back in the game, which was very impressive, right?
They did.
So like and you could walk away from the game feeling good as both either way. But in my mind, I'm watching that first half, and we should have been completely dominating that first half. There was just things happen that didn't allow it to happen, which is part of football. But the thing is that like the potential for the Packers offense is really high to score a lot of points. Assuming that you don't have it's kind of like so many things happen at the worst possible time in the first half, and you're like, okay, part of football. It's probably not going to be that bad continuing forward, right? Well, but in my mind, I'm seeing that offense in that first half. The Packers are built to get that lead so that you can't run against them, right? But the refs allowed it to kind of keep close enough where the Bears had that window and they took advantage of it, which is really great. But if that didn't happen, I think the window would have been a lot smaller. It would have been much tougher.
But I think two of those calls that you're talking about, they're kind of 50-50. They could have gone either way. You couldn't really rule one way or the other. And unfortunately, in each one of those cases, it did go in our favor. But that's where I can see where you're upset.
But that's not my point. My point is the refs just decided let's throw tons of flags on the Packers and none on the Bears practically until like the end of the game.
It was 6-3. It was 4-6 at the end of the game.
Right. So all right, let's talk about the penalties, because even during the game, I'll admit this, Dave saw a couple of those and he's like, yeah. He's like, I'll take it, but some of them.
And it's not just that; it's like the catch by Musgrave, which looked like a catch to me.
I've watched that in replay about 5 times, and I can see the argument where it hit the ground, but you can also see the argument where he has it in his hands. It does hit the ground.
It's not conclusive. You can overturn that.
His hands bring it in. So the rule of the thing is if they called a catch on the field and it's not conclusive, it should be a catch.
Yeah.
So I would say that's not really 50-50. It's not necessarily BS, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we didn't get that one. And then don't forget about the one that Caleb Williams threw, that it bounced off. They rolled on the ground. Yep. Yeah. And then they said it was incomplete, even though the Williams grabbed the ball and it never touched the ground.
So how is it incomplete?
Yeah, I watched the replay on that. It can't be incomplete if it never hits the ground. So how do they call it an incomplete pass? That's the thing that's crazy to me.
And like in some of these calls, you could be like, okay, I can see kind of how they don't do it, but like every single one went against the Packers, it seemed in the first half. So it was just over and over and over.
We're biased, but it was because they were big 50-50 calls that all seemed to go against us.
It also depends on how you approach that challenge, because when you look at it, if you want to see it, I don't think he made I don't think that he really caught it. Why not? If you want to see it as a fumble, because he caught it and then he's still moving. And I think their end decision was he didn't make a football move, because he went down and when his knee hit the ground, he had the ball. The DB hit it, and then it started to move a little bit. He didn't have it completely, but him and the DB both had the ball when it was right here on him, when they're rolling around. So that's where it's inconclusive, because when his knee hit the ground, if you want to say he completed the football move, and that's where I think they said they blew the whistle. That's where it was a tight call. It was a crap call for you guys.
It was a crap call.
Because, ultimately it never hit the ground. If that would have been part of the review, but the refs can only review what the part of the challenge was.
And that's part of the officiating problem. If it's clear and obvious what actually happened, make the right call. That's all I'm saying. And we've talked about this before. And there's a Zay Flowers catch today that you guys probably, if you saw those replays, that is way worse that they gave him a catch. So it's like there's no consistency. So that's the thing about being a Packer fan is we know we're spoiled, and I'm proud of it, by the way. I'm proud of being spoiled, and I will send my check to the refs right now. Apparently they didn't get it today. So, but I just want it to be fair, and it sucks when you feel like the big decisions are going against you when they could be 50-50, right? Yes. Well, and it's just one after another. And I'm going to bring up one more thing before you talk, Doug. The personal foul penalty that was called against the Packers for 15 yards, Luther Burden went up and choked Nixon on his throat. And then his teammate came over and was like, yo, you need to stop that. And then the penalty was on the Packers, which is egregious.
That's what I'm saying. Like it felt extremely heavy, like with the refs penalizing the Packers in so many different ways. And I'm not complaining about the game result or whatever. I'm saying that like if those things didn't happen, I think the Packers win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
And I think that would be one exception, because they always say when you watch the broadcast where it's never the first guy that gets called for those penalties.
Right.
And that's where I think they need to change their policy to where if they can see in New York right away, they can see, no, actually he wasn't the instigator. It was a response to the first one. He may have been wrong. That's something that the NFL, I really think that they should look into modifying.
And even if they did offsetting penalties, which I still don't think would be fair, I would understand that. And if a guy gets another one, then he's out of a game. Kind of like in soccer football where you get 2 yellow cards and you're out. If you get 2 personal foul penalties, you're done. So each guy gets one, knock it off. And then if you get another one, you're out of the game, right? So bad calls all around. Ultimately, though, the Packers pulled it out. Jordan Love was amazing. This guy, number 9, the number 9, not that jerk in Minnesota who actually, played okay today. He was unstoppable. They couldn't cover Watson. Me and Dave were talking about it at the game when CJ Gardner-Johnson was on Watson in the slot playing up close on 3rd and 1. If the Packers would have run the ball there and LaFleur would have been his Schottenheimer self, the Bears would have smoked him. They did play action. Johnson cannot keep up with Watson. No. Packers get a huge touchdown out of it. That's what happens when you play aggressive. So I thought that was a great play. I thought it was a great throw by Love. And I thought that was one of the
and Love might have checked into that at the line, I think. And it's such an obvious call. Literally, the Bears had every single person on the line except for one safety.
Dude, they were, and I don't blame the Bears because knowing LaFleur's history, you might as well go for it if it's 3rd and 1. It's just that matchup was a massive advantage for the Packers. Jordan Love saw it and was able to make advantage out of it.
And I think that went back to it was something that we talked about before the game. I said, the way that the Lions beat us in week 2 is they hit us up with a lot of those shallow crossers and with a lot of mid-range crossers. If you can do Watson, if you can do Jaden Reed across the middle, we don't have the guy and even when we had Stevenson, we still didn't have the full complement, but we can be exploited that way. The Lions did that in week 2. Green Bay brought that out today. Watson with his touchdown. Then they also did in the 3rd quarter, they did Jane Reed, a similar thing, because when you put a guy in a slot and that you're going to get CJ Gardner-Johnson, his strength is defending the run. His strength is rushing the quarterback. Even though he's a DB, he's more of a dime linebacker, I'd want to say.
I agree with that.
He no longer has the speed that he used to, which is why he's been on 3 teams.
He got cut twice this year because he can't cover, but he does other things very well.
But right? That's where I give respect to LaFleur, because he schematically put everything up. So he has Watson in the slot. Mm-hmm. He made sure that, it's going to be CJ Gardner-Johnson. Love sees that, and he's like, thank you, God. Yeah. And later on, schematically, I thought it was well done by the coach, by the quarterback. That's something that the Bears have to work on, because, the Lions exploited it. The Packers exploited it.
Yeah.
And again, if we win one playoff game, I'll be excited, because we weren't supposed to be there. We're playing on house money. I still like our chances in 2 weeks. I do believe that Dennis Allen is going to make the adjustment so that way they can exploit it.
Yeah.
But when Green Bay has 2 stunning wide receivers now, when Jaden Reed came back, he was on the pitch count. He only did 25 plays today, less than 50%. A little bit under 50%. But when Green Bay wanted to get the game started, they went to him right away. When they wanted to get Jordan Love into the flow in the 3rd quarter, they went to him. They got him involved, and that got the fans into it. Having Jaden Reed,
that was pretty awesome.
It's a huge chip that you're giving Jordan Love, and that does make Green Bay's offense explosive.
It does. So we'll talk about the game coming up first. But Doug, what was your play of the game? What do you think was the biggest play of the game? Now, Keyshawn's interception obviously seems like it could be, but that's more the game sealer.
There was a lot of big plays.
But
the play of the game by far is Josh Jacobs on that pitch.
Yes.
Where he basically needed to get the first down a couple of yards, and he got 21 because the game was so tight and both plays were, people couldn't get it. There weren't a lot of big plays other than the big passes, because of the speed. But he made some guys miss and actually made a play, which that didn't happen a lot in this game. The first person at the ball carrier is usually taking them down, or at least slowing them down enough to kind of mitigate them a bit. So that Josh Jacobs was the first play of the game where you're just like, oh wow, that was awesome, run by him and making he made basically not 4 guys miss, but there was 4 guys there that could have made the play. And he got by all of them.
Wiggling. And if he doesn't get that and we kick a field goal there, the Bears have a lot more time. And you saw they were moving the ball down the field.
They could have kicked a field goal.
And our defensive line was getting tired because they just had that long drive with all of those runs. So if the Bears have time, they got to the end zone anyway. They just happened to throw a pick, but if they got extra time there, I had a very sick feeling if we kicked a field goal, the Packers might have lost that game. So getting that play and getting that touchdown, I think, was massive, which forced the Bears to have to go. But the
second and most important one was Jaden Reed first got that ball in that sweeper or whatever, and you saw Jaden Reed was playing and good, I was like, okay, Jaden Reed's playing and he's good and he's making plays. I was like, we are winning this game. How are you going to cover him and C.J. Watson like that? I feel like everybody in the stadium and everyone there just realized this Packers offense is good and we know it's good. And that confidence carried through the whole game, even when the Bears came back.
And the offensive line, I thought, played very well for both teams today. I think the Bears, especially in the run game, and the Packers, especially in the passing game. Now, the Bears did have that 1 sack early in the game, but Jordan Love had lots of time today to throw. which is why he was able to get those big.
Some of those throws were like after 4 seconds.
Yeah, the one to Melton, he was sitting there for like legitimately 4 seconds.
We were just this close away. Who was it?
Brisker. Yeah, Brisker. He was like this, and it just went past his fingertips.
He seems super comfortable, and he just when he can lay up those passes and put touch on them, it's just easy for him.
No, great game by Love. So again, great stats today. The one weird interception, again, he always has 1 or 2 throws a game where I'm like, ugh. And sometimes it is an interception. It was today, but he is not a turnover artist. It's his 4th of the year, folks, and he threw 3 touchdowns today. So yeah, he is not a crazy person with the ball. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way, but every now and then he just makes a bad throw. Or like me and Doug were talking about earlier, it seems like sometimes he's in mid-throw and then he changes his mind and tries to change it, and then it just ends up going in a direction he didn't want. It goes right to Garner Johnson. But ultimately, that didn't cost them anything. But I'm excited for this game in Soldier Field. I think it's going to be a close matchup. I know, Doug, you think we could have won by 3 touchdowns, and I do think we could have.
Well, I think in Soldier Field it'll be closer because the Bears are at home, so it'll be a closer game. But I just think the Packers will probably win.
But what do you think when Green Bay, when they go up 14-3, when they get the ball first in the second half? Did you assume that the game was yours?
I thought if we would have scored on that drive, then yeah.
But because up until that point, you weren't really running the ball that well.
Yeah.
But do you think that shows something in Chicago that we're down by 11? Green Bay gets the ball first, and Green Bay or the Bears are just like, no, we're just going to keep playing Chicago Bear football.
And you got better in the second half.
That's testicular fortitude right there. They don't get scared. That's the thing about the Bears.
Right. And this year, that's why they keep winning those close games that they lost last year, is because they don't freak out. They play their brand of football, and they have enough talent to make things happen. And honestly, I think next year, if you think about it, Caleb's young, Rome's young, right? You got Luther Burden. You got young tight ends. You've got decently young tackles. Your guards are a bit older, but not old enough to where like they're not going to be playing for 3 years, right? So all you guys need is a couple guys that can cover on the safety spot on defense, right? And a couple guys that can rush the quarterback. Well, easier said than done.
Our safeties are good. Our DBs are good. We need pass rush. We need
pass rush is key.
We gave all the money to Sweat. He did good his first year in Chicago. We haven't gotten him many.
He got a sack today.
Well, no, it was actually the other guy from Kansas.
Yeah,
really? Second they said his name on. They must have called it out.
He got the pressure, but Booker was one who cleaned it up.
Okay, because they said his name on the loudspeaker, so I thought it was him.
Well, you got to get somebody other than Garner Johnson. I know he makes plays, but him as a backup is great, right? And I like Brisker a lot. But Brisker is not, I'd say his strong suit is tackling and making plays versus coverage, right? Not that he's a bad coverage guy, but like that's not his strong suit.
Byard's aging out.
Right.
He's doing amazing this year.
Byard's playing really well, but he's slower than he used to be. Like you guys need that quarterback in the free safety position. That's a good coverage guy. You need that. But more than that, you definitely need pass rush. I think your pass rush was the biggest problem today for you. And, your run game was the biggest problem for us. But I thought the Packers did pretty well considering it was that one drive.
The first half, the Packers stopped the run game mostly. They did. It was like 30 or 40 yards rushing, but that was with a lot of plays.
I think having our linebackers healthy today was massive. It was massive. So, having the 2 guys come back, having Quay come back, having Cooper come back, I think was massive because they were 1 and 2 in tackles. Surprise, surprise, right? Because the Bears run so much. Why it was a miss, because that D-line was getting tired. That D-line was definitely getting tired. So,
we need props to them, though, for playing good in the first half, because I did not expect that. The second half, they got worn down a little bit or out-schemed or whatever.
Dude, and Halfley, and I know X missed that sack because, Caleb is so sneaky and getting out of stacks, but X had him fucking lined up. But then we never did that again. And I really liked the Bears' game plan where they just kept rolling Caleb away from Micah, right where Rashawn was. Rashawn's never going to catch Micah. No. And
Caleb,
or Micah for that matter. But Caleb was smart. He made 2 really good throws on the sideline, the touchdown one, and then the one that Zacharias slid and grabbed or whatever. And when he didn't have anything to throw to, he just chucked it out of bounds and they went to the next play. Like that's veteran stuff. That's smart stuff. So Caleb was actually really smart today. And, he still had a less than 60% completion percentage, but I think you could take 5 or 6 of those and say, hey, that was the smart thing to do and not count it as a bad throw.
Because if Micah Parsons is coming at you, you don't want to just give him the same target every spot. So that's what I think, rolling out like that. So you're changing the target for him so he doesn't know where to come.
Yeah.
I think that was a brilliant part of the game plan. I do admit on that last drive where there was a blatant holding that our right tackle had against Micah.
Thank you for admitting that.
Everyone
2 plays in a
stadium.
row, yeah.
Yeah, well, the second one was egregious. The first one is like they couldn't call it.
Yeah, the first one was where the tackle handed him off, the guard came back out, and he took Micah, and he made contact. He got one hand a little bit beyond, right in front of the shoulder when Micah went by.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't.
But he literally had his jersey as he went by in and pulled
It's one of those where, like, if it gets called a hold, nobody questions it, right?
Yeah.
But it happens a lot, and it doesn't.
But it's one of those.
A lot of those get missed.
Right.
But the one after that where you see, and it's just like this.
That is
Micah's
literally
like,
in the rule book. You cannot grab them by the head. You cannot get them by the neck or higher. And he's got it
you could not see his face
for like
and
the entire play.
looking right at it. That's the thing that bothers me. He's literally 2 feet.
Yeah, and it's not like he had initially in the chest. Literally, that was the whole play. Was just him like holding on.
That is dangerous to Micah's health. So, like, come on, NFL, like, get your shit together, because that's at least the 5th time that's happened where it's been on his neck or
for
his
this
head,
season,
and it hasn't been called
for this season. It's probably like the 28th.
Well, that specific hold, though, that very specific one across the face. But he gets held 8 times a game. It's just that you can't let people hold him in a dangerous position. Like, that's the reason.
If you have someone in a headlock, they can't do anything.
Right.
There's literally he's just taking on play.
And even though Micah didn't show up on the score sheet a lot, Micah still affects the defense so much. He affected Caleb so much.
Caleb got flushed out of the pocket a lot.
A lot of those throwaways is because Micah was tracking him down, right? Micah was in his face, and there's one where Caleb slipped, and Micah's right there, and he's like, "What are you going to do?" And then Caleb just throws it away, and I was like, "Hey, that was a smart move. Like, that was a smart play by Caleb." So,
but it was kind of fun to see Micah on the ground after that, because you guys like, "Oh no, don't tell me Micah's hurt."
Right.
And it's just like, no, Micah. You could just kind of see him on the ground. It's like, God damn it, what do I have to do?
He was tired. He was tired.
It would have been an insane battle.
Again,
it was good.
Caleb Williams, second-year quarterback, looked like a second-year quarterback. We still have a shot. Jordan Love looked like a 6-year quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He looked like the vet. Yeah. In 2 years, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Next year, it's going to be pretty crazy. I just love how close the game was. All in all, it was just a win for everyone in the stadium, everyone that was watching the game. It was fun.
We had a good time.
Packer fans were screaming afterwards, Bears still suck. I'm like, yeah, and you barely beat us. So what does that say about you?
Yeah,
it was a great game. It was a lot of fun to go to.
Videos going viral.
I mean, even if you beat us, we probably would have said Bears still suck.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the thing we got to do now. Yeah. But no, it was a fantastic experience going to Lambeau at night. My first night game, sort of, at Lambeau, but under the lights was amazing. Just a magical place if you guys ever get to go. If you're a Packer fan, a Bear fan, anybody. Yeah, we did the tour too. Yeah, we did the tour. There was a bunch of Bear fans there as well. Like, honestly, man, I thought the Bear fans were cool. I talked to a couple of them this weekend. I had a really good time talking to Bear fans. Dave's always, pretty logical as a Bear fan, so we had a lot of fun. It's cool that the rivalry's back. It is, and it's cooler because we won. But, like, it's still cool that the rivalry.
But we feel like this has staying power. When Trubisky came out, there's that little bit of hype and whatnot, but it just didn't quite feel real. Even though, like, we have Nagy, he's an offensive mind. But you see Ben Johnson's game, you see how the team buys into everything, even being down by 11. I don't know. This is going to be a lot of fun for the next decade.
I think Ben Johnson very, very quickly is. I mean, he's already proven he's one of the better coaches. I think he's very, very quickly going to be one of the best coaches in the NFL. But it takes more than one season. You obviously got to do it consistently.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of plays. Again, I like his play calling a lot, but I think there was a couple times today where he kind of went into his bag of tricks that have been somewhat figured out, like the INT by Nixon. Same play they ran against Philadelphia, right? So, like, he's going to find out that more and more teams are going to be, keying on what he does and copying what he does, right? Because he's so good. That's what happens in the NFL. You copy things that work very well, and then they become less effective because everybody does them or everybody practices against them. So consistency is key, but Ben Johnson, great season. He's doing a good job.
I know that we still have over a month until the postseason. Do you have any concerns about what you saw from Hafley schematically in the second half?
I wish you would just blitz once in a while. So this is my thing. If they're running rollout right all the time with Caleb, and whether he's throwing it away or not, you have to show the offense that you're willing to take a chance and either blitz somebody off that side or just make them switch it up. Because I'm telling you right now, if we don't blitz you guys in Chicago and they start doing that at the beginning of the game instead of in the second half, we're going to have a lot of problems.
He did a little bit of stuff to switch it up. He did some stunts. He did a little bit of blitzing, but it got picked up right away. Chicago blocked it really well, and the Packers are fighting through it. But what happened was Caleb just ran out of the pocket right away.
Yeah. But if you want to talk about we are in contention for winning the Super Bowl, you have to go against the Rams, right? They have a mature quarterback. They have a mature running game and whatnot. They have Devontae Adams. That would be baller to watch him beat the Packers. But, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see Sean McVay with a mature quarterback. So I think that Hafley might be the limiting factor. So Green Bay can't – you need to see a little bit more from Jeff Hafley. Like I said, you have the pieces at linebacker. You have him at safety and whatnot. You just got to come up with something a little more creative and effective to take away the run and the pass. You did good against Bears. You need to see a little bit more growth in the next month to talk about.
I agree with you, but at the same time, like Caleb's ability to escape the pocket and scramble is even better than the past.
Dude, the one that he got away, we're like,
constantly
there was like 3 guys, then he just popped out. And we're like, what the hell?
He was constantly elite level at escaping the pocket and running away. And the Hafley made a little bit of adjustments, and he did like right away. He sent the blitz and did this stuff. I think that like Hafley's like, okay, could have done a little bit better, but like nobody expected at all Caleb to be that good at escaping the pocket. He was extremely 10 out of 10 at escaping the pocket and eluding people.
Well, the Packers defense, again, today I thought played well, but they do have this tendency to allow 10, 15, 16 play drives and allow other teams to control and mitigate the clock, which the Bears did do today, by the way. They had like 10 more minutes
of possession. They don't have any good defensive tackles.
Right. Well, they had 10 more minutes of possession than the Packers, though. And sometimes you have to, in order to get turnovers or to stop drives, is you got to blitz on 2nd and 4 when nobody's expecting it, right? Not just on 3rd and 8. So I just wish Hafley would be a little bit more chaotic. And, maybe he's
but I think he's thinking Caleb make a mistake. We're going to put the pressure on them to make mistakes, and we don't want to blitz and then have Caleb run for 40 yards. That's, right. I think, also part of the thing.
It's not just the Bear game is my point where this happens. It's a pretty consistent thing. But they're still a top 5 defense. But to Dave's point, if you're going to win playoff games, what do defenses do in the playoffs that make the biggest difference? They get to the quarterback and they create turnovers, right? Those are the 2 things every defense that has won a Super Bowl has done. Now, we can get to the quarterback thanks to Micah, but not really anybody else. And turnovers, yes, we did get one today that was awesome, but we're still bottom half of the league in creating turnovers. So to create more, you have to have a little more chaos.
Because who else is looking at being in the playoffs? You also have a Shanahan out there, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have the smart offensive minds are going to be able to get to the playoffs. So Hafley needs to he needs to diversify.
This NFC playoffs is going to be brutal. There are literally 5 teams I feel like that can win the Super Bowl in the NFC, right? Maybe take the Eagles out of there because they might be falling apart. We'll see what happens.
They don't have any brain trust.
Seattle definitely, but maybe the Sam Darnold effect. We already know the Rams can. There's no doubt there with their quarterback and everything else, right? I do believe the Packers are in that group, but and then you've also got, the Eagles if you want to include them, okay? And then potentially, dude, don't count out the 49ers. I know they got a young defense, but it is a Shanahan. They tend to win a lot of playoff games. I don't really think they're a favorite. I wouldn't pick them to win the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't count them out either. So, I think the NFC is a bit of a trench warfare for, who's actually the best team. Because, the Rams are gettable.
It's the Packers. That's the answer. So.
Okay, fair enough. That's why hype is hype.
Did you not watch the first half where the Packers dominated, stopped the Bears running game, and the refs constantly screwed them over like every fucking goddamn drive down the field?
Did Michael Jordan and his Bulls really give 2 rats' asses about the first half? No. They waited until the third quarter.
But the Packers win by getting up by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then they are pass rushing with Mike.
How many times has Green Bay been up by 2 touchdowns this season?
But they would have been.
Not many times.
They would have been if the refs let them.
No, but in any game, that's not how LaFleur has coached this season.
I agree. And they did get up by 2. Could have been 3 without stuff.
They were up by 2 scores.
They were up by 11.
Well, you know what's great? This next game against Denver, and Denver's legitimately really good defense, right?
That's gonna.
I want to see what the Packers offense can do against them. If we can, it's really hard to be explosive against Denver. Literally, other than the Giants, weirdly enough, no one has really been able to take it to Denver's defense. And I think the Packers have the tools to do it, right?
Yep.
And I just want to see if we're successful. If we can go into Denver and be successful on offense, win or lose, I'm just saying, be successful against that level of defense, I think my playoff belief will begin to rise, right? So, because I need to see us in that environment be successful on offense. And, again, we got the tools, so let's see what we can do. But I would definitely say this. I think the Bears will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks are falling apart, so hopefully my Panthers get in, right? But I think this game in Chicago, I'm still calling a split. I think the Bears will win that game just based on what I saw this week. But hopefully we beat them. And right now we're 4-0 in the division. So even if the Bears beat us in that game, if we take care of business against Minnesota and beat at least Baltimore or Denver, then we're going to win the division. I think, no question, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
That could happen, but the Packers could win. They can win all of these games if they play like they did tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And Matt LaFleur in December is really good. His winning percentage is
2 games
fantastic.
in a row, the Packers have played like a playoff Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah.
And if they can continue just playing like this and playing disciplined, they had some penalties like Keyshawn Nixon admitted, whatever. But like if they can just keep playing at this rate, they have the talent. They should be winning these games. They have the talent to do it. And Micah didn't even make any impact plays. I mean, he was affecting things, but imagine, the Bears offensive line is very good. Mm-hmm. Other games, it's not going to be like that. Mike is going to break through, and the elusiveness of Caleb Williams. This game right here tested the Packers in the worst possible ways for them. The running game being good that they can't really stop. Micah can't get to the quarterback because he's running around. Like no other team can do that stuff to them. So like the Packers could come in and like have very strong wins against other teams. The Bears are a good team because of the offensive line, and the escapability of Caleb Williams is extremely insane. Like without that, they would probably be like a mid-level team, but with that, you're good.
If you take away our great parts, we're a mid-level.
Yeah,
team.
but my point is those really good things you're good at literally negate what the Packers can do. So like that was a very good test for the Packers.
Well, it was. But I think I said this many times this year. If the Bears don't win the turnover battle, they don't usually win. It was an even turnover
Can we get back to what I said? Okay, the Packers will win all the rest of these games.
So Doug's predicting
Dougie's got
all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I'm not there yet. But
I mean the regular season. All the rest of these games, they should win all of them.
And if they do win all those games, Doug will definitely tell you they're going to win the Super Bowl. I can tell you that.
Well, I did pick them to win the Super
That's
Bowl.
true. You did.
And you guys, I don't believe that you did.
I did not. Who did I pick to win the
So I'm allowed to say that.
No, Dave picked the Ravens. Well, that's not good. Oh, I picked the Bills. That's right. There's a chance. It's not a very good chance.
They're like a 7 seed.
I mean, it's better
good.
It's better than the Ravens. But we kind of teased Doug for picking the Packers, and I gotta say, out of our 3 picks, I think the Packers are definitely the best of those 3.
The thing is that this is the base thing is here. The Bears are good at things that to negate the Packers what they're good at or their weaknesses. Like it's a really good test of the Packers. Other than the Rams, I just think that they could beat any of these teams, period.
Yeah. I think the Packers' upside is one of the highest in the NFL.
Like, how are you going to cover all these wide receivers and Josh Jacobs?
You only have 2.
What are you talking about, all these wide receivers?
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers.
No, Dave says we only have 2.
You're saying all of these wide receivers, like you have more than 2 wide receivers that are really good.
Yeah, we do.
You have 2. You have Watson and Jaden Reed. You don't even trust Romeo Doubs.
You didn't watch the Lions game and Wicks just dominate the Lions. You didn't watch
Wicks is good for 2 good games a year.
Dude, Wicks is good for 2 good games a year. Again, we still don't have Kraft, but there's a lot of these weapons that
the unstoppable force, Luke Musgrave.
Hey, dude. A cornerback caught a touchdown against you today.
Yeah, Bo Melton.
Bo Melton. Yeah,
our cornerback caught a touchdown.
There's a vast, there's a plethora of wide receivers, Dave. A plethora.
Yeah,
Pinatas, receivers, plethoras of them.
You know what's funny? I don't know if they do this on TV a lot, but it's like when they run these jumbo package and they're like 74 is eligible, 70 is eligible. Like half the times I'm expecting them to throw it to an offensive lineman. I just want to see more of that. That's all I'm going to say.
But every time that they announce that, you're like, give me play action.
Yes, please.
Yeah, every time you're screaming for
and that's
play
what
action.
The Watson touchdown was: jumbo package, play action, throw it deep. Use your speed. That was awesome. So that was my favorite play of the game. The Jacobs one was the savior of the game, but my favorite play was the Watson play, the crosser, perfect throw by Love, and Watson just ran right by him. That was
just awesome. Like Luke Musgrave, the Packers are an unstoppable force. They can only stop themselves. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it.
Yes. The problem is Musgrave always stops himself. So, though it was a catch today.
No, it was the reps that stopped him today.
Fair enough. All right. Well, great episode, guys. So happy to come here to Green Bay with you.
It was a really fun adventure.
Yeah, let's do this again. Everybody, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
And
please.
shout out to Carry the G Beer for our party we had last night.
Yes, and awesome. Everyone who came. Kevin, nice to see you, buddy.
Maddie showed up.
Yeah, Maddie showed up. Everybody. We had a humongous party.
Shout out to Staz.
And we drank lots to Carry the G's. Yeah, it was a good time.
Shout out to TVs. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Good night, gents.
Go Pack Go.
Bears still suck.